Who all would be special grade in Jujutsu Kaisen if we got rid of the pesky requirement that you had to be able to solo a country and instead just based it off your general strength and prowess alone? Let's talk about it. All right, first of all, shout out to Blaze who asked me about this and also shared his list of sorcerers who he thinks meets this criteria, again, of being special grade in how strong they are, just not necessarily having the ability to take on a country, perhaps because their curse technique doesn't really cater itself toward that, if that makes sense. And I will say that of all of your candidates, I agree with them. So they're going to be amongst mine here, including your maybes. But to kick this list off, I would agree that Druve would be special grade by this definition. I mean, we know that he already took over Japan back in his era, so that makes him special grade by the literal definition. But in terms of his curse technique, it doesn't seem the most powerful, but, his feats speak for itself. Next, we've got Ryu, some of the strongest output ever in JJK, a very powerful curse technique with Granite Blast, was able to compete with Rika's True Love Beam, has a domain expansion. I think he's clearly on this level. Next, I would say Uro, basically for the same reasons as Ryu, domain expansion, incredibly powerful, and we know that she was the captain of the Celestial Squad back in the Heian era, obviously no slouch. Next, Yorozu, and again, it's more of the same. Incredibly powerful curse technique, domain expansion with a sure hit that could basically wipe out anything. I think that she might actually be special grade by the real definition as well. Then next up, we've got Angel, and this one was a bit tough, but I would give her this classification based on the strength of Jacob's Ladder alone, because it's a hard counter to everything in the verse. Now, she doesn't have a domain expansion, at least it doesn't appear that way, so she's not obviously going to win any 1v1s against some of these higher tiers of the verse, but still, in terms of like her capability versus curse spirits and just in general one-on-ones, for that hard counter, I think she belongs here. Next up, we've got Uraume, and honestly, I think they might be special grade by the classical definition. This frost/ice curse technique is incredibly powerful, and Uraume is very good at using it. The only question mark here is whether or not they have a domain expansion, but even if they don't, just based on the way they can use their technique, how they lasted against Hakari for that entire fight, they have RCT, I think they're up there. And then finally, to round out Blaze's list, we have Hakari, and I also agree with this one. Again, he's not taking over a country because his technique just doesn't lend itself toward that, but he's scrapping with anyone and everyone out there, and so his strength level belongs here. But now I've also got some other candidates that I think would fit in this tier as well. And let's kick that off with our boy Yuji the MC. And I'm just taking people at the end of the series. We're not talking about full potential, but still, I think Yuji belongs in this tier. He's got Shrine. He's got Blood Manipulation. He's got RCT. He's got one of the strongest, most durable bodies in the series. I think he can scrap with the best of them, and he's got curse techniques to back it up. I think Yuji will be the literal definition of special grade in due time, but he's already there for this power level version we're talking about. Then next up, I'm going Higuruma. I mean, he's got talent on the level of Gojo, and he's only been a sorcerer for a couple of months. He's another one where his technique isn't really going to help him take over a country, but again, he can throw down with anyone in this verse. Next up, I gotta throw Takaba in this tier. No, he doesn't have a domain. No, he doesn't have RCT. No, he doesn't even know what's going on a majority of the time, but still, the comedian curse technique is arguably the most powerful in the verse. Takaba is essentially a reality manipulator. So even though he's not, using it intentionally or deliberately, it's still one of the most powerful things there is. I think he absolutely belongs here. Next up, this one's probably obvious, but I did just want to mention it, and that's Kenjaku. Obviously, Geto was special grade, so Kenjaku in his body is special grade as well, but even aside from Geto's body, I would give Kenjaku this designation. Next up, it's got to be my boy Todo. Now, obviously, Boogie Woogie's not going to help you take over a country, and obviously he doesn't have a domain expansion, but still, his mental IQ, his battle strategies, and just his overall general strength, I think throws him up there with those top tiers. Then next up, I've got Kashimo. Obviously, he can only use the technique once, but even without the technique, he's incredibly fast, and he's got the pseudo sure hit effect of the electricity, like going back between the positive and negative charges. So he's a formidable matchup for anyone, and especially if he uses the curse technique. Yeah. And then finally, I'm throwing Maki and Toji in this tier, especially if we equip them with their curse tools, because they are a one-on-one nightmare for anyone. And then hopefully this was obvious, but clearly the actual special grades would also be in this tier, and including Sukuna, who's not pictured here. But that would be my list of like kind of the highest echelon of the verse, the people that have the capability of taking down a special grade curse spirit, or, just being considerably stronger than what we think of when we think of a normal grade 1 sorcerer. They're not going to be taking over a country necessarily, but I feel like we got to put some respect on their name. So again, Blaze, thank you so much for the question, and I would love to hear who else you guys would throw in this category or who you'd take out of it.